Greetings, fellow explorers of language and culture. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your enthusiastic guide, Fu Anh, and today on this episode of Linguistic Legacies, we're embarking on a thrilling voyage back in time into the heart of the Vietnamese language. Our destination? The ancient and enigmatic script known as Chữ Nôm. Alright, so you've heard about Chữ Nôm, the script that combines sounds with meanings, but hang on tight, because the script is way more intricate than it seems. Just think about this, Vietnamese language with 5,000 distinct syllables. Now imagine a script where every single one of those musical syllables had sometimes not one, but a few characters assigned to it. Crazy, right? These characters were like puzzle pieces, and today we will explore some of the ways that those characters are created. But first, let's picture this. A Vietnamese living in the 11th century, you just emerged from a millennium of Chinese occupation, and now that you got your country independent, it's time to think about how to write your language. You know Chinese scripts well enough, so you will use it to base this new writing system upon. But what exactly would you do? The script really was a wild playground of creativity. There was no standardized rulebook, no limits at all. The first path you could take was just to use the original unmodified Chinese characters. This could be easily useful for recording words of Chinese origins, or alternatively, Chinese characters can be used for native Vietnamese words that share the same meaning. You may notice it, but this strongly resembles the road the Japanese took, with the on and kun readings of Japanese kanji respectively. Japanese learners can understand the difficulty with using this system. You just don't know when to use which reading. Chữ Nôm was better in that aspect, as you have a diacritic to indicate when a native reading should be used. A third way is to use Chinese characters to model Vietnamese pronunciation of words, much like the Manyogana system that was the origin of Hiragana and Katakana in Japanese. And now, the best parts. Vietnamese scribes, fueled by boundless creativity, didn't stop at borrowing alone. They invented their own characters, and not just a few, they invented thousands of entirely new characters. Most common were phonosemantic compounds, sounds and meaning, semantic compounds, meaning and meaning, or modified Chinese characters. The result is a mesmerizing library of possible characters. Learning it was definitely a nightmare from personal experience, and as even the most basic words had an elaborate character to represent it. Now, despite its complexity, Chữ Nôm played a pivotal role in the development of Vietnamese classic literature and recording of Vietnamese rich folklore, proudly asserting national identity after a millennium under Chinese rule. It remained in use for centuries and even served as the official script in a few short-lived progressive dynasties. There was one last valiant attempt to make it the official script, led by the patriotic scholar Nguyễn Trường Tộ, amidst the looming threat of French invasion, but unfortunately his proposal was rejected by the emperor, marking the end of that dream. Soon after, with full colonization by France, Chữ Nôm began its gradual decline from the spotlight, ultimately replaced by the official Latin script, which is in use today. While the Latin alphabet significantly improved literacy, it also severed a historical connection. As a young person, I still find it quite a shame that I can't directly read old literary texts or inscriptions in temples and pagodas, but sometimes practicality comes at the cost of heritage. And so, as we fast forward to the present day, Chữ Nôm still exists, although hidden in plain sight, carrying with it the nostalgic historical value of dynastic eras that only reveals itself to those willing to take the time to absorb its beauty. That concludes this chapter of Linguistics Legacies. Hope you've enjoyed our journey through the mesmerizing world of Chữ Nôm. Until our next linguistic adventure, keep exploring the rich tapestry of languages that shape our world. Thank you and farewell.